I'm going to be talking about my abusive relationships I've been in. I know that you guys want to hear about that, so stay tuned. I wasn't sure if it was going to be okay to talk about this guy because I have a notification. Okay. I'm friends with I don't know if it's his sister-in-law or whatever, but basically I got her permission to say this, so I'm going to say her name. But Julia's mom, she has a boyfriend in Eau Claire. So, wind chimes, shut the fuck up. Julia's mom lives with her boyfriend in Eau Claire. And Julia's mom's boyfriend, I don't know what his name is. I'm gonna name him Steve. So, Steve has kids. Alright? And they're not technically related to Julia, but Julia stays at their house because that's her mom's house now. They share that home. And this happened a year ago. So this is probably the first manipulative, yeah, I know how to speak, relationship that I was ever in. And it's kind of abusive too. But not like he ever hit me, because I never met him. He was verbally abusive. Yeah, so basically how I met him. So Julia was posting on her story because she had one of her friends over. I'm gonna name her Shaniqua. So Julia and Shaniqua, were just hanging out, and she, this was back when, the whole screenshot to slap them was, trendy and stuff, and everyone was doing that. Or at least everyone from my school was doing that. And so Julia posted a picture, and she's like, screenshot for me to slap Shaniqua and, I'm just gonna use his real name, and Devin. So I slid up and I was like, wait, who's Devin? He's kind of cute, and you have a boy at your house, because Julia's mom isn't super strict, but I don't think she'd let a boy over, because this was 11 at night. This was not 3 in the afternoon. And she's like, oh, actually no, that's my mom's boyfriend's son. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. He's kind of cute. And she's like, oh, he wants to see a picture of you. And I was like, okay, that's normal. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what I look like. So I just sent him a selfie. It wasn't that cute. It was mediocre. And he's like, oh, he thinks that you're cute. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Does he have a Snapchat? First red flag here. He's she said, no, he doesn't have a Snapchat. That's a major red flag. Because, he didn't have Snapchat or Instagram, but he has a smartphone. And that shit to me was mind-blowing. And I mean, I guess it's not super weird, but, it's kind of weird when this guy's, 15. Yeah, at the time, I was 13, and he was 15. Now he's 16, because I'm 14. Yeah, so he's, doesn't have a phone, or he doesn't have social media. So I get his phone number, I text him, and we're just, talking about normal stuff, trying to get to know each other for the first couple days. Then on the second day, he's like, what are you doing? And I was, drawing some pictures and stuff. So I just told him, oh, I'm just drawing right now. Why? And he was just like, oh, that's super cool. I didn't know you were into drawing. Can you send me a picture? So I sent him a picture of what I was drawing. Except, I don't know if this is true, but he said, oh, my phone for some reason isn't getting it. So I was like, okay, well, you don't have Snapchat or Instagram, so I can't really show you any other way. And he made an Instagram account so he could just follow me, and so I could send him pictures. Red flag. I didn't even think about that. I didn't think that was weird. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. This boy's, just getting an Instagram because he wants pictures from me. Whatever. So, I'm the only I'm the only person he follows. He had a private account, no photos, to this day, no photos. I was the only person following him. Julia did not know he made his Instagram to follow me. And then after, I want to say it was a week of talking to him, he asked me out. And I was 13, this was one of my more serious relationships. So I was like, you know what, yeah, I'll go out with you, he seems really cute. Even though I didn't know him, because I'm stupid. Yeah, so, I ended up dating this guy. And, even know. Like, at first, that my mother came home. She's gone now, though, which is good. Because I don't like explaining to my parents that I have YouTube. Anyway, so yeah, we're dating now. And he's like, doing all the, like, normal, like, dating stuff. He's like, oh, you're super pretty, like, dang, like, that's my baby girl, like, all that stuff. Except, like, my Instagram, if you haven't seen it, if you don't follow me, which, I mean, why aren't you following me? But if you don't follow me, I have a photo from about, like, a year and a couple months ago, because, last year is when we dated. But, like, I have a photo on my Instagram about a year ago where I'm in a bikini, except, like, you can't see, like, the rest of me. It's just, like, from, like, here up. So, it has, like, cleavage and stuff. And he, like, how, like, you can send a post, like, a post to someone? So he DM'd me that post and then said, dang, girl, like, do you still have that swimsuit? Like, can you send me a picture of you in it? So I was just like, actually, it's in the wash right now. And it wasn't. I just, like, wasn't comfortable with it. And he's like, okay, well, like, after it's in the washer, can you, like, send me a picture of it? And I was like, okay, well, I'm going hiking soon, so I can't really. And that was true. Like, I was in the car, like, driving to, like, the woods that we own so that I could go hiking. Because, like, I like hiking. I like nature. That's why I'm filming outside. And my room's a mess. Yeah, so, like, I told him that. And he's like, well, what about when you get back? And I was like, you know what? I'm just not that comfortable with it. Like, are you okay with that? Like, I don't really want to send you pictures in my bikini. And he was like, he was kind of mad, but he wasn't, like, super mad. He was, like, low-key mad. He was like, oh, dang, like, I really wanted to see you in a bikini, like, ugh. And, like, he just seemed, like, kind of ticked off that I wasn't willing to send him, like, a picture of me shirtless. And then, so that was, like, one thing. But he also just, like, kept saying, like, I love you, like, within the first few days of dating. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Because it's like, how do you love me? We've only dated for 2 days. Yeah, so it's like our second day of dating. He sends me, like, this long-ass paragraph that, like, took up my whole entire phone screen. And he's, like, just talking about how much he loves me and, like, how he, like, wants me and all that stuff. And I would pull it up, except I film on my phone. Yeah, so he, like, just has this huge thing about how much he loves me and how much he's, like, how happy he is to be with me and how he doesn't want any other guy to be with me. He wants to spend all his time with me and all this other stuff. And it's kind of freaking me out because it's, like, second day of dating, Yeah, so I, like, read that, and he sent this to me at 2 a.m. So I read it, and I just reply, thanks, I mean, that, I can't, I'm so awkward, I'm sorry. But I was just like, thanks, I mean, like, that's cool and all, I just, like, can you be a little bit slower, because stuff like that makes me really anxious, and I just don't feel comfortable, like, when you're saying all this stuff, because it makes me very overwhelmed, which it does, like, that was a lot for me, just, like, comprehend, and I honestly, like, wasn't sure, like, obviously he didn't really mean all that stuff, or at least, I don't think he could have, because it was, like, our second day of dating. Hey! Yeah, so he says all this stuff, and, I mean, I tell him I'm not comfortable, and his response was, again, similar to the swimsuit situation. He was like, why didn't you tell me that? Like, don't push stuff onto me if it's your fault. And, I mean, I give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, yeah, I didn't tell him. Should I have expected him to know that he really shouldn't be saying that type of stuff to me because it makes me feel anxious? No, I shouldn't expect that from him. But at the same time, it's like, why are you telling me all this stuff? Why are you sending me paragraphs? Which, of course, now I'm just like, I wish guys would send me paragraphs. Except his paragraph was weird. And also, like, he was, like, super dirty. Like, really sexual, really dirty. like stuff that I don't want to repeat on camera because I don't want to get demonetized. Not that I make money anyway. So, this guy was so bad. So bad. He didn't like me hanging out with friends. He didn't like me talking to guys. He was like, you can't talk to guys because you're mine. You're my girl. You're not their girl. You're my girl. And I was just like, okay, but like, this guy's my friend. I've been friends with him since I was 5. I'm pretty sure we're not going to do anything. And then it was like Dunn County Fair, which like, I hang out with pretty much all my friends who go to the Dunn County Fair. So I had posted a thing on like my Instagram story. Like, this was when Instagram stories were super new and super hip and cool. And so I posted a thing on my Instagram story, and it was a picture of one of my friends who's a guy. And I don't have his permission to say his name. I'm going to name him Joshua. So me and Joshua were like chilling. Joshua had a girlfriend, mind you. So it was like me, Joshua, and Joshua's girlfriend. And we went on the merry-go-round. Yeah, I know stuff. Yeah, so we go on the merry-go-round. Except like, the merry-go-round is 3 horses in a row. So it was like Joshua's girlfriend, Joshua, and me. So I posted a picture of that, and it was like, you couldn't really see Joshua's girlfriend. Didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. Sorry, Joshua's girlfriend. Yeah, but you could really just see Joshua, and he was like singing and all this little stuff because they play music, and he was doing that, and I was just like, oh my lord, like I captioned it, and I just said like, oh my lord, he's such a 3-year-old or something like that. And Devin, what do you think he did? Do you think he was an understanding boyfriend and believed me when I told him, hey, Joshua has a girlfriend, like, don't freak out about this. Me and Joshua are just friends. No, of course he didn't believe me. He's like, I don't want you hanging out with that guy. That guy's cuter than me. What if you end up dating him instead? And I'm just like, this boy. So, yeah, that was one of the biggest examples of stuff he did. But I also just like had to keep telling him like I'm not comfortable with stuff. Like multiple times he asked me for shirtless pictures, and I was like, Devin, I'm not comfortable with that. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? I told him yesterday. So I want to say he probably asked me for shirtless pictures about like 20 times in the 2 weeks we dated. Every time I said, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm 13, you gotta take things slower with me just because stuff makes me anxious. And every time he'd be like, yep, I understand that, like, you're good, like, you don't have to tell me that again. But if he was really good, and if he really understood that, he wouldn't keep asking me. So, this boy keeps asking me, keeps pushing me into things that I don't want to do. And for the most part, he didn't push me into much, which I'm very proud of myself for. I didn't let myself get pushed around, but he would try. He would try to push me around. And that's what upsets me. So, finally, it's like the week before school starts, and we have our first football game, and I go to the football game, and I'm sitting there with my friends, and I'm complaining to them about Devin. I'm just like, you know what, he's super possessive, like, he doesn't let me hang out with any of my guy friends, and he gets super mad when I do hang out with them, even though I tell him beforehand I'm hanging out with this guy that I'm friends with, and I keep telling him my boundaries, but he keeps trying to push them, so I tell them that. And I tell Julia this. Like, Julia knows what's going on this whole time. She's the only person I told in the whole, 2 weeks to a month that me and Devin were dating. She's the only person to this day who has seen all the screenshots. Because I have so many screenshots of him just asking me things that are insane. And so much to ask for from a girl you've only been dating for about a week. So, she knows about this. And I'm sitting with her and some other girls. And they're all just break up with him, Maddie. You're not comfortable with that. And he doesn't respect that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, he doesn't. I've had it. I'm done with him. So, I text him because I've never met him in person. So I text him, or not text him, I Instagram DM him. Yeah, because that's, smart. But I Instagram DM him, and I'm just like, hey, I think we need to talk. And it takes him 3 hours to reply. Luckily, I texted him at the very beginning of the football game, and he got back to me at the very end of the football game. So my friends were still there, or at least most of them were. And he's like, oh, sorry, babe, some stuff's been going on at home. What's the problem? And I tell him, I'm like, you know what? You keep pushing my boundaries. You keep, just not respecting what I say and how I feel. And I'm just not comfortable with that. I think we should break up. And he's like, babe, you can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. He has this, he probably took up, 2 screenshots of my phone to give you a reference of how much he said. But basically the whole thing, he just kept repeating himself. He's like, I can change. I'll respect you more. I'll do this and that and all of this. And it's hurting my voice to talk like him. I'll do, why didn't you tell me about this stuff? Even though I've told him, 20 times. So he's just, trying to push it all on me. And he's like, you know what? If this is because of your anxiety, don't blame it on me. It wasn't because of my anxiety. It was because of him. It was solely because he did not respect me as a human being. So anyway, I break up with him. I end up blocking him because he keeps texting me. The week after I break up with him, I probably got about 30-ish messages saying, I'm really sorry. Can we get back together? I really want to be with you. And I'm so over it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to block him. No big deal. No harm done. Well, so about a month after we had broken up, I'm still friends with Julia. And she tells me, she's like, oh yeah, did you hear about Devin? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? And she told me, oh, he was in a car crash with his mom. His mom had a seizure in the middle of driving, and they ran into another car. So I was concerned, not because I really cared about Devin that much, more just because I was like, oh, he doesn't have many friends. Not a lot of people are going to be concerned about him. So I just sent him a simple text, and I'm just like, hey, are you okay? I heard what happened with you and your mom. I know we didn't end on the best note, but I just want to say, if you ever need to talk to anyone about it, I'm here for you. And he says, yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay? You, all in capitals. I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? I didn't get in a car crash. And he's like, well, you just, when we broke up, you didn't seem like you were in a really good place. I was just like, this bitch is still trying to push on his problems onto me. And I don't need that. And I was like, yep, I'm fine. I'm in a perfectly good place. I'm very happy with myself and where I am in life. And I stopped texting him. That was it. That was the end of it. Until last week. He texted me again. I honestly thought he would just delete my number after not talking for 9 to 10 months, probably about, maybe even more than that. So last week I get a text from him. And he said, hey, how are you? I'm sorry things ended so badly, and I still feel bad about it. But, if you're willing to, get back together, I'm down. And I was like, of course I'm not willing to get back together with you. Are you a psychopath? I mean, I didn't say that. I put it a little bit nicer. I was just like, sorry, I'm not really interested in, dating you again. I have other guys who are interested in me, and I just don't want to get back together with you. I just don't want to have you be a part of my life. No offense to you. It's not that you're a bad person. I just feel like you and me are bad together. Which I've said to 7 different guys at this point. I mean, I gotta stop using that excuse. Yeah, so I tell him that. And he's like, okay, well, if you ever change your mind, I really miss you, and I really want you back. And I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm not gonna respond to that. So, anyway, he was just really manipulative, and really tried to make it seem like his problems were my fault. And that if I was uncomfortable, it was my fault for not telling him something, even though I had already told him that thing. So, yeah, I don't like him anymore. I don't like dealing with boys. But I have another boy story. Of course I do. Yeah, so we'll jump into that story right there. Guys, I'm editing right now, and I know that I said that I was gonna do a, second story about a manipulative boyfriend, or he wasn't really manipulative. This guy cheated on me, and I know I said I was gonna do that, but then the video would have been like 40 minutes long, and I don't want to do that, and I know no one would really watch that, because nobody wants to watch a 40-minute long video. But, if you do want to see, the story time video of me talking about the guy who cheated on me, I have the footage for that, so that could be a separate video if you want. Just like this or leave a comment saying you want to see it. I don't know. I'm tired. It's 8 in the morning, but I stayed up until 1 yesterday doing online health. So give it a thumbs up for doing her homework and getting her life together.